Betsy, Randle. Russ. Getting really cozy up here, guys. Guys, how does it feel? How are you guys doing this morning? First off, how often are you guys getting together these days?
Every Tuesday.
You guys have a podcast.
I was just thinking, this is the first time this many of us have been together.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, does not everyone have a microphone? No. Oh, there's too many of us, guys.
We're sharing, honey.
Well, when thinking about this show really dealt with some very important issues at the time. Do you think that this show was ahead of its time in any way?
Yeah, I mean, please. No, you mean it's like in the future already?
I mean, I think the thing that we've talked about is the show seems so dated in very obvious ways, like the way we dress and some of the slang and all that stuff. And of course, because it was fundamentally a kids show or a family show in the 90s, everyone associates it with their childhood or that time in the 90s. But watching the show, which I think for the first time for this podcast that we've been doing, is like what we've been talking about is how it has a timeless quality, So I would say it was ahead of its time in that the themes and the depth of the storytelling, the writing was just so darn good that even though we as actors were very much present, the characters really transcend that. Seems like us.
Well, was there an episode in particular that was tougher to make than others, and then was there one that was a blast to make? Was there an episode that was tougher to make than others, and then was there one that was a blast to make?
Well, I remember when we did the Scream episode. I call it the Scream episode. That's my favorite episode, and I was actually pregnant during that episode. So when you see me running down the halls, I have a baby. I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant with my last child, and that was kind of uncomfortable for me. But also of my favorite, definitely.
No. Not that I recall. What are you all doing here? Where are we anyway?
but because of Bill, and we have this extra family, you know, and it really does feel like family. I really feel like we're all part of one family. We're not necessarily husbands and wives and sons and daughters and all brothers and sisters. We're just all this family of people, and we're all just people, and it's that have been brought together as a family. It's kind of amazing.
Tell me and I'll agree with you. It's best to always agree with her.
So you said yes. Okay.
Well, thinking about the show, there were so many fun and amazing guest stars. Do you guys have a favorite that's come on?
You guys know them all. Let them answer, they know.
I mean, the big joke is like we had so many people from like the 70s and 80s that we had no idea who they were. Yeah, you guys were excited to have the monkeys. You guys got to get up on stage with the monkeys.
We had the monkeys on our show. We had some great old comedians that you guys wouldn't know, Buddy Hackett. You know, your parents maybe showed you some of those. We had a lot of great stars. We had Olivia played Juliet in Romeo and Juliet.
Olivia Hussey, yeah. And we had wrestlers too. Vader came on and Mankind came on. That's a lot of fun. And then we had guest stars. That's one of the things we talked about on the podcast. We had guest stars that just kind of stole an episode. Like, we just talked to Leisha Haley, who sang the Shallow Boy song. It was like the Alanis Morissette kind of... Or Dom Marrero. Dom Marrero came on. Yeah, it was so funny. We had great kind of guests that came on the entire time. It was really fun.
Yeah, no, I think there's some really cool stars that were on the show, but was there anybody that was supposed to be that didn't make the cut? Like, was there somebody that we didn't see?
You know, I was telling them the other day that the man who played my father, Julius, that was supposed to be, I was told it was going to be Louis Gossett Jr. But I guess he didn't, you know, make the cut. I don't know.
You didn't want to come on.
You know, we had so many great guests, though. Seriously, there was Brittany Murphy, the late Brittany Murphy. You know, I can't think of them all, but really, so a lot of people came to the show and like took off, you know, and we were still here. You know? So that was pretty interesting to watch.
You kissed him.
Well, there was several actresses.
Harry Russell.
Harry Russell.
Harry Russell,
Yeah.
he's a big star now.
I thought that was cool.
Well, this November actually marks the 25th anniversary of According to Panga getting married.
25 years. What anniversary is that? What's the gift? Is it gold? Silver! Alright.
Silver! I'm gonna treat myself to some silver when I get home. I can't believe I've been married for 25 years. Over 15. Now, it worked out for them, and kudos to them. And, you know, there are always going to be those success stories. Tony Quinn here has known his wife since they were in high school. They are still happily married. You see Tony today, say hi to his wife, Bartlett. And, you know, there are stories of it working out, but I would say on a whole, getting married right out of high school is not usually ideal.
But it's fine. We love According to Panga. It worked out. That's good. But one that didn't work out that I wanted to see was Sean and Angela. Was that something that talk out ever?
Well, it's good it didn't work out because people still talk about it because it didn't work out. You know?
That's a good way.
I just like saying Shwangela all the time. It's really, you should try it. It's great.
That's a good way of thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've gone back, you know, when we were doing Girl Meets World, it was a big discussion, you know, because we knew we wanted to bring Trina back, and sort of try and resolve it. But it was also like, very openly, we were like, do people really talk about their 17-year-old relationships this much in their 30s? It was like, because obviously Sean and Angela would have moved on and like lived their life. But of course, in the context of a TV show, everybody knows our characters as, together and destined for each other to a certain degree. So it was a lot of discussion. And, ultimately, the writing staff was like, well, let's have Sean end up with Maya's mom, and and it doesn't always, because the Romeo and Juliet of Boy Meets World is Corey and Topanga, and they ended up together, so we can't also have Sean and Angela end up together. That was the logic, and then of course there's been a backlash ever since, and we regret it.
One of the reasons I think that's so interesting, why people so wanted to see Sean and Angela together, and why the stuff that happened on Girl Meets World was so weird, is I still don't know that character's name. You just refer to her as Sean married Maya's mom. I literally don't know that character's name.
Katie Hart.
Who is it?
Katie Hart.
Katie Hart, okay, but that's what I remember. It seemed like, of course, they shouldn't have ended up with Angela. I married Maya's mom.
She's been 2 seasons of the show. I was only on 3 episodes, so she was only on 3 episodes with me again.
Speaking of Girl Meets World, when it comes to that show, were you guys worried that it wasn't going to resonate as well as the original did?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and really, how could it? It's a hard thing to try and do a show where you want to pay homage to the show that came before it. You want to touch on the nostalgia factor for it was supposed to be, the idea was that it'd be parents watching with their kids. But there were obviously a lot of people who were in their 30s that didn't have children that tuned into Disney Channel to watch us, and then were like, this show really seems to be about some young kids. And I don't think I like it as much. And that's a hard line.
And then there were young kids going, why are they spending so much time
Who are
with
these old people?
Sean? All these old people. I was
getting a lot of applause. So it was tough, and I think it was something that was discussed behind the scenes. How do you do both? How do you make sure you're catering to both? And in some ways we succeeded, and in other ways we didn't. But you make a valiant effort, and we had overall we had a good time.
Are you guys still in touch with that younger cast at all?
I am, very much so, yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, a lot of you guys are parents now, so I want to know, when was the first time you showed Boy Meets World to your kids, and how did they react?
Too much shirts.
Exactly. Everyone wants to hear the too much shirts.
My son, very famous, we watched the pilot together, and I was recording him, so it's played on our podcast, where he was like, what do you think? And he just went, too much shirts. And he corrected himself the next time I watched it. I should have said too many shirts, I know. But he was just like, everybody's wearing so many shirts, and they're so big. It was really amazing to see it through his eyes. He was 7 when we first started it. He's 9 now, and he tapped out a second season because there was too much kissing, and he hasn't gotten back. I think it makes him a little uncomfortable, but yeah, it was so cool to see how the show still worked, like especially in the first season, those first few episodes, on an archetypal level. Like, he just thought like Mr. Feeney with his mustache was so mean but kind of nice, And Corey, he's like, I like Corey. Corey's funny. He's always in trouble. I was like, yes, that's the point of the show. And it was, it's like we just have so much baggage that we bring to it, positive and negative, and all, it's just grown-up baggage and all this history. And to see it purely through his eyes was amazing. And and it was like, right, this show worked from the beginning, and that was a big thing for me. And the thing that we talk about a lot is it worked because of these guys, the adults on the show. Will has talked a lot about having learned how to act by 3rd season, and we think he's too harsh on himself, but there's truth to the fact that we were kids, and we had no idea what we were doing. But these guys were the pros, and they had such heavy lifting to do as far as, setting the tone for the show, which is this crazy tone of normal sitcom, you gotta have a joke every 3 minutes or less than 30 seconds. And then one boy meets world, sort of threaded this needle of like real heart and, seriousness. And that is set by these adult actors who are such pros that they could like turn on a dime and working with kids. I mean, we were 11, like it's crazy. So yeah, but that just made us appreciate like their part of this equation because of course, we were allowed the freedom to sort of be children for 3 seasons and then finally learn how to do the show.
About a year ago, Adler, we'd been watching the show for the podcast, and so it was the first show in the recently watched of Disney Plus. And Adler said, "Mommy, I want to watch that show." And I said, "Okay." And so I went to my first episode, Corey's Alternative Friends, and I started playing it for him. And I get to the scene where I'm in the classroom, and I go, "Do you know who that is?" And he goes, "No, this is boring. Let's go back to college." And I went, "Okay, cool. So three may be a little too young." So I'm going to wait a couple more years and then try again. There you go.
My son paid me the ultimate compliment when he saw me on the show. I played an episode for him or whatever it was, and he looked at me kind of different, and he goes, "Wow, Dad, you're a good actor." Awesome.
That was the best compliment.
That was great.
I don't think, did you ever get that? Did the kids? This guy, he's now going to be 97. And he was tap dancing in public, performing. When he was about 7, he started tapping, and his mother had him acting. So he was a child performer, very much a performer at first, and then went on to a Broadway play, and then was drafted, so he served in the Army. Very luckily in Italy, not in the front. And then has gone on, he had a really tough period. When he got out of the Army, he went to Northwestern. That's where we met. I was 18, and he was like 21 or something. And then he was very successful at Northwestern. Everything was good. He got to New York, and it was tough for him. I did better. I did. I just fit in better. People didn't know what to do with him. And so it took him about 10 years. What?
I'm just talking to myself.
Oh. But I mean, he's been performing, acting for, so it's about 90 years. And that's a long time. But this group, he went into this group, and it was like he was there with, they just happened to be younger. But it was the same group. It was actors, and he was treated them like actors, not like kids. And he grew, I think he grew to love them all. I do.
He scared the hell out of us.
So terrifying.
So terrifying.
Was he really terrified?
Yes. It was his presence where it was, he never missed a line, he never missed a mark, and it was...
Whenever he spoke, the car from Knight Rider was talking.
Yes! It was daunting. He also did not tell us that he was a child actor.
Oh,
He didn't tell us that at all. He just treated us all like equals, and it was one of those, if you got the look, and we all know the look, that's all it took was just, and you'd go, oh, okay. And you'd stop clowning around or doing something. So it was, in some ways it was very scary, but in other ways, every other job I went to, I was one of the most professional people on the set because I worked with Bill Daniels. So, talking about Ian Carl, it was great. And when you could get him to laugh, It was the coolest thing. It's like you just unlocked the final level of the video game. It's like, I just got him the lap. It was really great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
But you know, it's amazing because we never wanted to, well, we liked working together, but we had very separate careers. So we went through 7 years of St. Elsewhere. Most people never knew we were married, really. They never figured that out. So I think he has managed to keep our life kind of private in a way, in a good way. So we've never been part of that mainstream, you know, doing all the stuff and doing all the shows. And this is our show. We've been very lucky. We've been very... Luck has a lot to do with it. How this all got put together is amazing. And it's very, very lucky. We can go back to directors, we can go back to everybody, teachers on the set. Wonderful people, all the way. So we're all very lucky, very lucky.
Advice that Williams gave you guys.
What is the best advice? Who do you want for him to give to?
What was the best advice that William gave to the cast? Because Mr. Feeney gave great advice, yes.
Best advice that Mr. Feeney, William, would give to the cast.
He said, just try to behave, please.
Settle down.
I used to stay in my dressing room because they were young and they were having a lot of fun, and I was taking it very seriously. So I would avoid them while they fooled around until we were going to roll. And then I'd come out and we'd do our scenes. I guess it worked out all right. I grew to love them.
Well,
What do you want to say?
well, before we open for Q&A, I know that Danielle, Will, and Ryder are working on something outside of the podcast. Would you like to share that?
Sure. We aren't even sure it's ever going to go anywhere. We're not necessarily planning on doing anything with it. But like Bonnie mentioned, this has been such an amazing group of people that we've been able to stay in touch with for all this time. And it really kicked into high gear last year when we started the podcast and we started doing some live shows. And so at some point, Ryder, the creator with the idea of the podcast, also said
Wasn't
to
him.
us,
I remember it differently. It wasn't him.
said to us, do you think we should record any of this and do like a documentary of the experiences that we've been having? It's like, we look back and we have 30 years of 30 years ago we have this footage of us on the show, but we don't have a ton of behind the scenes footage. We have some, but not a lot. And he said, I think there's going to be a time, whether it's in 5 years, 10 years, or another 30 years, where we're going to look back on the experience that we're all having now and wish we could relive it and experience it again. And so we have a little film crew who has been interviewing fans at our live shows, who's here with us this weekend, and went to dinner with all of us last night. And even if we never air it anywhere and it's just for us, but yeah, we're really excited about it.
We shot yesterday in my childhood bedroom, which is 20 minutes from here. So I looked up.
And it hasn't been touched since he was 16 when he left it before he was born. It is crazy, guys.
It's quite a time.
So I look up into my childhood bedroom and there's Ryder and Danielle, one sitting at the desk, one sitting at the bed. It was just such a weird experience seeing them there.
Dark Side of the Moon poster.
Oh yeah. I got my Marilyn Monroe wall.
He's a wall of Marilyn Monroe.
So it was a lot of fun to kind of have them there at the childhood house. So yes, it's gonna be weird to watch that.
Well, all right. Should we open this up for Q&A? Does any fans have some questions they'd like to ask the cast?
All right, everyone, if you would like to ask a question, come meet me over here. We're gonna have the microphone right here, so you can come. As a friendly reminder before we start questions, when we end the panel, just to make sure that we can get a professional quality photo of the cast, please remain seated so we can get the photo of the cast, and then we're gonna turn around and get a selfie with all of you out here. So please remain seated until we tell you to stand up for the selfie, all right, guys? Thank you very much. Please, when you get up here, just say your name and then go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, my name is Kimberly. Oh, sorry. This is crazy. I watched you as a kid, now I'm a mother of 4. So I wanted to find out from anybody who wants to share what it was like for you when the show ended, transitioning back to life. Did any of you get day jobs? Did you go back to public school or private school? What was it like integrating with friends? And then was it hard for you to get back to your next acting gig, being pigeonholed with the role that you had on the show?
Yeah, great question. It was a totally weird transition. We, by the time the show was over, we were sad to part from each other, but also, for most of us, there was a real sense of excitement about, like, what's next? And I know for Ryder and I, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but there was a feeling of that when the show ended, like, okay, now I can go back to real life. Like, somehow the life on the show was some alternate universe that was taking us away from real life. And it kept us sometimes from being truly present in what we were experiencing. And that's been one of the benefits of the podcast, is that we've been able to go back and now get to relive some of the things we took for granted back then. And yeah, there was a massive transition. When you've worked on a show for 7 years and you have the stability of, not only the income, but the schedule, it's very weird. You tape on a Thursday night and you wake up on Friday and that's it. Just no idea what's coming next. And I didn't know anything about careers, so I didn't know anything even about the industry as far as like, oh, you gotta strike while the iron is hot. I was like, I'm gonna take 2 years and not do anything. Well, guess what happens when you do that? Everyone completely forgets about you, and then when you do want to start acting again, they're like, who are you? So yeah, there was like a rough transition in multiple regards. That's, only speaking for myself, but I think for a lot of us, there's a weird transition.
I want to say that the life after Boy Meets World has been really adventurous for me. I always felt like in acting, the reality of acting is you go inside a building, you say some lines, and you leave, and you really start to get more and more isolated from the actual world. So my time since Boy Meets World has just been this amazing adventure of different things happening, and the fact that I've never really had a 9 to 5, and I lived this actress life, I just think it's great, and I can't wait to see what's next. I'm actually opening a resort in Belize, so please everyone, come on down. But life is too short just to pinhole it on one great situation like Women's World, which I'm truly grateful for, but I like the real life after.
Hi, my name is Russell, and I'm from California. This question is for Will. What are some places or restaurants that we have to see before we go back to the airport this weekend?
Wow, well, I don't come here often. The McDonald's off of 84. It's great. No, there's actually, I won't point them out, but my brother and my dad are right there. I won't point at them, they're sitting right there. And I know that my brother's a big foodie, and he always talks about Millwright, is that what it's called? Yeah, in Simsbury, I think is where it is, which is a really good restaurant. And then we ate at Max's downtown last night. I know Max's has a lot of restaurants, so it's Max Mia, Max's Oyster Bar, Max's Downtown. And West Hartford Center has a lot of really good restaurants. And if you want the best tuna in town, Crown Market in West Hartford has like the best tuna fish around. Other than that, again, that McDonald's on 84 is awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessica from Connecticut. This is for everyone, but it's quick. If you could be the voice for a car on a TV show, what kind of car would you want to be the voice for?
It's the best question I've ever heard in my life.
A flying car.
That was my answer! She's in a VW camper. Yeah. Alright, you and I are both VW campers.
When I was growing up, I was really good friends with Jenna Von Oy from Blossom. And she was so cool. She was a couple years older than me, and she was so cute, and she was so fun, and she was so cool. And she drove a red Toyota Celica convertible. And all I wanted when I turned 16 was a red Toyota Celica convertible. And my mom was like, "You are not driving a convertible." I would be the voice of a red Toyota Celica. So there.
Kind of sound like a Celica convertible. That's
wow, thanks, writer.
Jenna, also from Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
My first car was a red Toyota Celica.
Was it a convertible?
No.
Not good, not good.
And I still have it here in Connecticut.
That's so crazy.
So,
why did we not see that?
That's a good question. I don't know. My first car is still there. Yeah, so still have that.
Unbelievable. Who is that?
I would be the voice of a 1964 Mercedes-Benz SL Roadster.
Oh!
Very specific car, I think, is what I would do.
Wow. I would be the voice of a brand new red Porsche. That's all I have to say.
I think I would be the voice of 1976 Starsky and Hutch Gran Torino.
We don't drive anymore. We don't drive anymore. No. So, but I could never be the voice of a car because I was never a very good driver. So, no, but here's.
I said, the voice of a car? All right, if you want me to do it, but I don't want any billing. I don't want anybody to know I'm going to do this stupid thing. It became very popular. So it was fun to do. It was easy to do. I didn't appear, so I could knock off the dialogue pretty fast and get the hell out of there.
Would you say Michael, please, Bill? Bill, would you do the voice of Kid for us? Would you say Michael?
You've just been listening to it.
Michael, Turbo Boost? Can you say Michael, Turbo Boost?
We want to hear you. Just say Michael.
I got a funny story just recently. A friend of ours, mother, passed away. Oh, it was in her 90s. This is a funny story. And they brought back a big, the kids, their sons, who were friends of our son, brought back a great big cardboard thing of Bill advertising for Hughes Market. And it was a big cutout, you know, there he was standing there saying, if you're as fussy as I am, it was like from St. Elsewhere, if you're as fussy as I am, you will stop it. Okay, so the joke is that when Bill was being paid thousands of dollars to do this, hating every moment of it, not wanting those things, you know, strictly for the money, he was not advertised, he was questioned in some kind of a program. And he said, no, I shop at Gelson's. And he was fired that day. And he was so glad. All that money gone. He hated doing it. All of those things were like a joke for Bill. In New York, they brought him in to do a commercial, and they said, I want you to here's what I want you to do. I want you to climb up these stairs and like you're painting and you're doing something earlier. And he said, that's what you want me to do? And yeah, that's what I don't think I'll do that. He's always done that kind of negative to anything.
I'm good at saying no.
Good for you. Thank you.
I think we have time for maybe 1 to 2 more questions.
Okay, I'm trying to speak this really fast. I want to say it fast. So when you guys are out in public, I know there's different kind of actors and actresses. My brother's an actor. He's okay with people coming up to him, but there's some other people that may not be. Because like yesterday, I wouldn't say hi, but I was like, well, I may be rude. Like, if I don't say hi, I feel like I'm rude. But if I do say hi, I feel like be invading people's privacy. So which one do you guys prefer? And then my other question real fast is side yard or backyard, and I have something else to say after that.
I can just very quickly say that people come up to me all the time, constantly, and ask me to take pictures of Danielle. It has just become a thing. They'll come up and oh, it's Danielle, can you take? And they hand me their phone, and I take a picture. So it's
people jumped out of the car yesterday to take a picture with Danielle and looked right at us. Good to see you.
So it's very nice when people come up and ask me to take a picture of Danielle. And then it's obviously a side yard.
Betsy, do you think it's a backyard or a side yard? Do you think it's a backyard or a side yard? The Matthews.
Oh, I actually thought of it as the backyard.
Okay. Rusty, what do you think?
Backyard.
Yes, it's a backyard.
Okay, so that's 2 wrong.
Trina, what do you think it is? I kind of saw it as a side yard because it comes from the kitchen. Thank you.
Real fast.
Backyard on the side.
Can a yard be a yard without grass?
Or courtyard.
Huh?
What?
Can a yard be a yard without grass?
That's a good question. There is no grass. Yeah, I think so.
Or it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. The last one.
My name is Sean. Did you guys actually film the show in Philadelphia?
No.
The magic of television.
No. We had never been to Philadelphia. We went to Disney World for 1 episode. Some of us did. But no. You know, what's really cool is all the scenes on Boy Meets World, almost all the scenes, even the ones that take place outside, were shot inside a big room like this. So even when we're in the backyard or when we're outside of the school, they have big enough lights to make it look like sunlight. And then when you look at the backyard, and if you look into the back in the distance, it looks like there are trees and maybe other houses. Those are actually giant photographs that they have blown up, and they hang from the ceiling. So there's sheets that are this backdrop, but going all the way up to the ceiling that wrap around the house that make it look like an outside. It's really all just movie magic. It's so fun. And like whenever it snows, we got fake snow. It was really fun. Really? That's what they did?
You were in Philadelphia. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was at lunch.
No, they did that either.
Anytime they wanted it to look like they're in Philadelphia, they put Corey in a Phillies hat. That was it.
Thank you. Thanks, Sean.
Guys, this is it. Thank you guys so much for coming.
That you have shown all of us over the last 30 years. I am perfectly comfortable speaking on behalf of every person on this stage when I say your love and support has truly meant the world to us, and it's such a joy to meet you face to face and hear the way the show has impacted you, and we appreciate you all so much.
Thank you. Let's give it up for our cast one more time, everybody. Give it up for our cast. I'd like your cast to join us all right down here, right in front of the table, if you don't mind. Stay seated, please. Stay seated. Come on. No. You guys can get up. I need them to stay seated so we can get the photo of all of you. Yeah, you guys are going to face this way. Yep. And all of you can stand. We're going to get a nice professional shot with our photographer there in the middle. You can see him over there. All right. go, nice and in the light for everybody. All right. We're looking straight out there in the middle of the house. We got our photographer. You see him waving? There we go. We got a couple shots there. Groovy. Now, if you guys wouldn't mind taking 2 steps downstage and facing me, and I'll get a nice big group shot of everyone. Can we get some of the house lights up for us, please?